The station is empty after midnight. Not quiet. Not peaceful. Empty. There's a difference. During the day, it's just like any other train station. Crowds moving, announcements echoing, vendors shouting over each other. But once the clock hits 12 a.m., everything changes. The last scheduled train leaves at 12:17. After that, nothing. No arrivals. No departures. No passengers. Just me. I took the job because it paid well and required almost no effort. Night shift supervisor. Sit in the control room, monitor cameras, log any activity, and make sure no one enters restricted areas. Easy. That's what I thought. On my first night, the station manager handed me a clipboard before leaving. Just follow the schedule, he said. That's it. He hesitated. Then he added something strange. And don't go to platform 6 after 1 a.m. I laughed. Why? He didn't. Just don't. Then he left. The station has 5 active platforms. Platform 6 isn't listed anywhere. Not on the public maps. Not on the digital boards. But it's there. At the far end of the station, past a dimly lit corridor marked staff only. I didn't think much of it at the time. Every place has restricted areas. The first few nights were normal. Too normal. Nothing happened. No trains. No people. Just the occasional flicker of the lights and the low hum of the station settling into silence. I spent most of my shift watching the security cameras. 16 screens. Every platform. Every corridor. Every entrance. Everything looked exactly the same. Every night. Until the 4th shift. It was 1:03 a.m. I remember the time because that's when the monitors flickered. Just once. Then stabilized. I leaned back in my chair, half asleep, and glanced at the screens. That's when I saw it. Platform 6. I frowned. The camera labeled CAM16 had never shown anything before. It was always static. Dead feed. But now, it was live. The platform was dimly lit by a single flickering overhead light. The concrete looked older than the rest of the station, cracked and stained like it hadn't been used in years. And there was something else. Movement. At the far end of the platform. A shadow shifting slowly near the tracks. I leaned closer to the screen. Okay, that's new. I grabbed the station map from the desk. Platform 6 wasn't on it. But the camera clearly showed it existed. I checked the time again. 1:05 a.m. That's when I heard it. A sound echoing through the station. Low. Distant. Familiar. The sound of a train. I froze. That wasn't possible. There were no scheduled trains after midnight. I pulled up the digital schedule. Empty. No entries. No arrivals. No departures. Nothing. But the sound was getting louder. Metal grinding against metal. Wheels moving along tracks. Coming from platform 6. The speakers above me crackled. Then an automated voice spoke. But it wasn't the normal announcement voice. It sounded wrong. Distorted. Like it was being played through a broken speaker underwater. Train arriving. Platform 6. The message repeated. Again. And again. Each time slightly more distorted. My heart started pounding. This has to be a glitch, I muttered. But deep down, I knew it wasn't. I stood up slowly. I should have stayed in the control room. That's what any normal person would do. But curiosity has a way of pulling you into things you shouldn't touch. And before I realized it, I was already walking toward the corridor. The hallway leading to platform 6 felt different. Colder. The lights above flickered more frequently. Some of them didn't work at all. The further I walked, the quieter everything became. Until even my footsteps sounded too loud. Then I saw the sign. Platform 6. It hung crooked above the entrance. Old. Rusty. Like it had been there long before the rest of the station was built. The sound of the train was louder now. Right on the other side of the wall. I stopped just before stepping onto the platform. Something in my gut told me to turn back. To go to the control room. To pretend I never saw any of this. Then the train arrived. The sound hit first. A deafening screech of metal grinding against the tracks. Then a rush of wind as something massive entered the station. I slowly stepped forward. And what I saw made my blood run cold. The train didn't look right. It wasn't modern. It wasn't even old in a normal way. It looked wrong. The metal was dark and uneven, like it had been melted and reshaped over and over again. The windows were black, completely black, not reflecting any light. And there were no markings. No numbers. No destination. Nothing. The train came to a slow stop in front of me. The doors didn't open. They slid. Silently. One by one. Inside. There was no light. Just darkness. Endless darkness. Then something moved inside one of the cars. A figure. Standing just beyond the doorway. Still. Watching. The announcement played again. Right behind me this time. Train now boarding. I turned slowly. There was no one at the speaker. The voice continued. All passengers? My chest tightened. Must board. I looked back at the train. The figure inside hadn't moved. But I could feel it looking at me. Waiting. Then the lights above platform 6 flickered violently. And suddenly, every door on the train slammed shut at the same time. The train didn't leave. It just sat there. Silent. Waiting. And that's when I realized something worse. There were no passengers getting off. Because this train wasn't here to drop people off. It was here to pick someone up. I didn't move. I couldn't. The train sat in front of me, completely silent now, like it had never made a sound at all. The doors were shut again, sealing whatever was inside back into darkness. For a moment, I thought maybe I imagined it. Maybe I was tired. Maybe the station was messing with my head. Then one of the windows moved. Not opened. Moved. Something shifted behind the black glass. A shape pressed faintly against the inside of the window. Like a hand. But wrong. Too long. Too thin. I stumbled back. Nope, I'm done. I turned and walked, fast, back down the corridor, not even looking behind me. The sound of my footsteps echoed louder than they should have, like the hallway itself was amplifying them. By the time I reached the control room, my heart was racing. I slammed the door shut behind me and locked it. Then I turned to the monitors. And froze. Platform 6 was empty. Completely empty. No train. No light flickering. No shadows. Nothing. Just a dark, abandoned platform like it had always been. I stared at the screen. That's not possible. I checked the time. 1:18 a.m. The train had been there for at least 5 minutes. There was no way it could have left that fast. And even if it did, I would have heard it. My hands were shaking as I pulled up the playback. Camera 16. Rewind. 1:03 a.m. The feed flickered. then came back on. Platform 6 appeared. Just like I saw it. I fast-forwarded. 1:07 a.m. The train arrived. Clear as day. No distortion. No glitch. A rail train. On a platform that didn't exist. I leaned closer to the screen. Watching. Studying every frame. The doors opened. The darkness inside the train swallowed the light. Then I saw it again. The figure. Standing inside the doorway. Not moving. Just watching. I paused the footage. Zoomed in. And my stomach dropped. The figure didn't have a face. Not like a person. Just a smooth, pale surface where features should have been. And yet, it was still looking directly at the camera. I swallowed hard. Okay, this isn't normal. I started fast-forwarding again. 1:12 a.m. The doors slammed shut. 1:13 a.m. The train sat still. 1:14 a.m. Still there. 1:15 a.m. I froze. There was someone on the platform. A person. Standing near the edge of the tracks. Facing the train. Completely still. I leaned closer. That's not possible. Because that person was me. Same uniform. Same posture. Same everything. Standing on platform 6. Watching the train. My chest tightened. I never stood there. I checked the timestamp again. 1:15 a.m. At that exact moment, I was already back in the control room. Watching the monitors. The version of me on the screen slowly took a step forward. Toward the train. My breath caught. No, don't do that. The figure inside the train moved slightly. Like it was reacting. Waiting. Then the screen went static. For exactly 3 seconds. When the image came back, the platform was empty again. No train. No duplicate. Nothing. I pushed my chair back slowly. This has been happening before. I didn't know how I knew that. But I did. I turned to the cabinet behind me and pulled out the station logs. Old records. Years of them. Most of it was boring. Routine checks. Maintenance reports. Security notes. Then I found something. A pattern. Every few months, there was an entry logged at exactly 1 a.m. Always the same note. Unscheduled arrival detected. Platform restricted. No action taken. No details. No explanations. Just that. Over and over again. For years. I flipped to the most recent log. 3 weeks ago. Same note. Different handwriting. Then I noticed something else. At the bottom of the page, written in shaky ink. Do not go to platform 6. The same warning the manager gave me. My hands tightened around the paper. They knew. They all knew. And they just left it. The speakers crackled suddenly. I jumped. Then the distorted voice returned. Closer this time. Clearer. Train arriving. Platform 6. I looked at the clock. 1:03 a.m. My blood ran cold. That's not possible. The train had already come. It shouldn't come again. But the monitors flickered. And camera 16 turned back on. Platform 6 was visible again. The lights flickered. The shadows shifted. And in the distance, I could already see it. The train. Returning. But this time, something was different. There were people inside. Dozens of them. Standing perfectly still behind the black windows. All facing outward. All watching. And every single one of them looked exactly like me. I couldn't breathe. Every window on that train was filled with the same face. My face. Dozens of them. Standing perfectly still behind the dark glass, lit faintly by something inside the cars that wasn't light, but enough to reveal them. Every version of me stared outward. At the platform. At the camera. At me. The speakers crackled again. Train now boarding. The voice was clearer this time. Less distorted. Almost natural. All passengers must board. No, I whispered. I pushed my chair back, standing slowly, my eyes locked on the monitor. Platform 6. The train had already stopped. The doors were still closed. But the figures inside. They were moving now. Subtle movements. Small shifts. Heads tilting. Bodies adjusting. Like they were waking up. One of them stepped forward. Right up to the glass. Closer than the others. Its face, my face, pressed slightly against the window. And then? It smiled. A slow, unnatural smile that stretched far wider than it should have. My stomach twisted. I'm not going down there. I said it out loud this time. Like saying it would make it real. Like it would stop whatever was happening. The lights in the control room flickered. Once. Twice. Then stabilized. But something had changed. The air felt heavier. Quieter. Like the entire station was holding its breath. I turned slowly toward the hallway leading to platform 6. I hadn't moved. Not once. But I could feel it. Something was wrong. Very wrong. I looked back at the monitors. And my heart dropped. The control room camera was showing me standing in the hallway. Right outside the door. Same uniform. Same posture. Same face. Standing completely still. Looking directly at the control room door. That's not possible. I stepped backward slowly. The version of me on the screen didn't move. It just stood there. Waiting. Then it raised its hand. And knocked. 3 slow taps echoed through the hallway. I froze. Because a second later, I heard it in real life. Knock. 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 The sound came from the other side of the control room door. My entire body locked up. No. Another knock. Louder this time. Let me in. The voice was mine. Perfectly mine. Same tone. Same pitch. Same everything. My throat felt dry. You're not me. Silence. Then the voice responded softly. I am. The handle of the door moved slightly. Just enough to show pressure. But I had locked it. It couldn't open. It shouldn't open. I backed away from the door, my eyes darting between it and the monitors. Platform 6. The train doors were opening. One by one. Inside the darkness. Something stepped out. A single figure. Walking onto the platform. It was me. Same uniform. Same face. Same everything. The version of me on the platform turned slowly toward the camera. Toward me. And even from the grainy security feed, I could see it clearly. It wasn't blinking. The speakers crackled again. Passenger has arrived. My heart was pounding so loud I could barely hear anything else. The knocking at the door stopped. Completely. The hallway outside went silent. Then the monitor flickered. The camera angle shifted slightly, and I saw something that made my blood turn cold. The version of me that had stepped off the train was no longer on platform 6. It was in the hallway, standing right outside the control room. The camera zoomed slightly, not by my input, automatically, and I saw it clearly. It wasn't breathing. Its chest didn't move. Its eyes didn't blink. But it was smiling. The door handle turned again. This time harder. The lock rattled. Metal strained against pressure. "Let me in." The voice came again. Calm. Patient. "You're not supposed to be in there." The lights flickered violently. The monitors glitched. Every camera in the station flashed at once. Platform 1. Empty. Platform 2. Empty. Platform 3. Something moved. A shadow standing at the far end. Platform 4. Another figure. Platform 5. More. Every platform now had someone standing on it. All of them identical. All of them me. My breath caught in my throat. They're spreading. The speakers crackled again. Boarding complete. The train doors on platform 6 slammed shut. And the version of me outside the control room stopped moving. It tilted its head slightly, listening. Then it whispered something through the door. So quietly, I almost didn't hear it. "There's no schedule for you anymore." The hallway went silent. Not quiet. Dead. The thing outside the door stopped knocking completely. No footsteps. No breathing. Nothing. Just an unnatural stillness pressing against the walls like something was waiting. Watching. I didn't move. I barely even breathed. Slowly, I turned my head back toward the monitors. Every platform was still occupied. Every single one. Dozens of versions of me stood scattered across the station, all in the same uniform, all perfectly still. All facing different directions. Like they were positioning themselves. "What are you doing?" I whispered. None of them answered. But at the same time, every single one of them moved. They turned. All at once. All facing the cameras. Facing me. My chest tightened. No, no, no. The speakers crackled. Replacement in progress. The words hit harder than anything I'd heard all night. Replacement. I looked at the control room camera again. The hallway outside the door was empty now. The thing that had been there. Gone. A cold feeling crept up my spine. Where did it go? I didn't need to ask. I already knew. The control room door creaked. I spun around. The handle was turning. Slowly. Deliberately. The lock strained under pressure, metal clicking and grinding as if something on the other side was applying steady force instead of trying to break it. Like it knew exactly how much pressure to use. Like it had done this before. "Stop!" I shouted. The handle stopped moving. For a second, I thought it worked. Then the voice came again. From the other side. Calm. Soft. Mine. "You're making this harder." The lock snapped. The door opened. It didn't rush in. Didn't attack. Didn't even step forward immediately. It just stood there. Looking exactly like me. Same face. Same clothes. Same posture. But there was something off. Something small. Something wrong. It blinked. Too slowly. I backed away instinctively. "You're not me." It tilted its head slightly. Studying me. Then it spoke. I am what stays. My throat tightened. What does that even mean? It stepped inside the room. The door swung shut behind it with a soft click. You left the platform. Another step. You didn't board. I shook my head. I'm not getting on that train. Its expression didn't change. But something in its eyes did. They looked empty. Flat. Like they weren't connected to anything behind them. You already did. My stomach dropped. No, I didn't. It took another step closer. You just don't remember yet. The monitors behind me flickered. I glanced over my shoulder for just a second. And that was enough. The screen changed. Instead of showing the station, it showed inside the train. Dark. Endless. Rows of seats stretching into nothing. And sitting in one of them was me. My body felt like it shut down for a second. I stepped closer to the screen. No. The version of me inside the train looked up slowly. Directly at the camera. At me. And then it spoke. Without sound. But I could read the words clearly. You already boarded. I stumbled back. No, that's not real. The thing behind me spoke again. It is. I turned. It was closer now. Too close. You were scheduled. My hands clenched into fists. There is no schedule. The lights flickered violently. The speaker screamed with static. Then the voice returned. Louder than ever before. Clear. Perfect. There is always a schedule. The duplicate raised its hand slowly, pointing toward the monitors. Arrival. The screen flickered. The train appeared. Boarding. The doors opened. Replacement. The figures stepped off. My heart was pounding so hard I thought I might pass out. This isn't real. The duplicate stepped even closer. Close enough that I could see every detail of its face. Every tiny imperfection. Every slight delay in movement. You are the anomaly. The words echoed in my head. Anomaly. Something out of place. Something not supposed to exist. That's why you remember. My breath caught. Remember what? The duplicate leaned in slightly. Its voice dropped to a whisper. The previous arrivals. The monitors flashed again. Faces. Dozens of them. People. Different uniforms. Different years. Different times. All standing on platform 6. All staring at the train. Then disappearing. They all boarded. My stomach twisted. And then what? The duplicate straightened. Its expression didn't change. But its voice did. It sounded final. They stayed. The speakers crackled again. Next arrival approaching. I looked at the clock. 1:03 a.m. Again. The train was coming back. But this time, the monitors showed something new. There were fewer duplicates on the platforms now. Much fewer. My chest tightened. Where did they go? The duplicate answered. They're already in position. The clock hit 1:03 a.m. again. For the third time that night. And somehow, I knew it wouldn't be the last. The station lights dimmed. Not flickered. Not glitched. They dimmed deliberately, like something was lowering them with control. The air felt heavier again. Thicker. Like time itself was slowing down. The speakers came alive. No distortion this time. No static. Just a clean, calm voice. Train arriving. Platform 6. I turned slowly toward the monitors. Camera 16 lit up again. Platform 6. The train was already there. Not arriving. Not moving. Just waiting. That's not right, I whispered. Before, I had heard it coming. The sound. The vibration. The warning. But now. Nothing. It had just appeared. I felt something shift in my chest. A strange, cold realization creeping in. It doesn't travel. The duplicate finished my sentence. It resets. I turned toward it. What? The thing that looked like me stood perfectly still, watching. The train doesn't come from anywhere. Its voice was calm. Matter of fact. It appears when the cycle resets. My pulse quickened. What cycle? It tilted its head slightly. The one you're inside. The monitors flickered again. This time, the camera switched on its own. Not platform 6. Platform 1. A man stood there. Not me. Someone else. Wearing a different uniform. Older style. Different decade. He looked confused. Lost. Exactly how I must have looked earlier. The timestamp in the corner of the screen read 1998. What is this? I whispered. The duplicate answered. Previous cycle. The man on the screen started walking slowly. Looking around. Checking the empty station. Then the speakers in the footage crackled. Train arriving. Platform 6. The man froze. The screen changed. Platform 6. The same train. The same darkness. The same doors. I felt sick. This already happened. The duplicate nodded slightly. Yes. The man in the footage walked toward the platform. Just like I did. Step by step. Same hesitation. Same curiosity. Same mistake. Stop, I whispered to the screen. But it didn't matter. He kept going. The train doors opened. Darkness spilled out. And just like before, something moved inside. The footage glitched. Just for a second. Then the man was gone. The platform was empty. The timestamp changed. 1999. The monitors switched again. Another person. Different face. Same job. Same station. The same thing happened. Again. And again. And again. Years passed in seconds. Every time. The same pattern. Arrival. Curiosity. Platform 6. The train. Disappearance. I staggered back. This has been happening for decades. The duplicate stepped closer. Longer. I shook my head. No, why? It answered without hesitation. Replacement. My chest tightened. For what? It looked directly at me. And for the first time, I understood something. They're not taking people. My voice was barely a whisper. They're replacing them. The duplicate smiled. A slow, unnatural stretch of the lips. Yes. I looked back at the monitors. The current feed returned. Platform 6. The train. Waiting. How many? I started. Then stopped. I didn't want to know. But it answered anyway. As many as needed. A cold realization hit me like a punch to the chest. The people who work here. It nodded. They're not human anymore. Silence filled the room. Heavy. Crushing. That's why the manager warned me. The duplicate tilted its head. He didn't warn you. I froze. What? He followed the rule. My stomach dropped. Don't go to platform 6. The words echoed in my head. He knew. The duplicate stepped even closer. Now just inches away. And now. Its voice dropped to a whisper. You know too. The speakers crackled again. Final boarding call. The train doors on the monitor opened slowly. Wider than before. Deeper. Darker. Something inside moved. Not just one figure. Not dozens. Hundreds. Shapes shifting in the darkness. All watching. All waiting. My chest felt tight. I'm not getting on that train. The duplicate didn't argue. Didn't move. Didn't react. It just said one thing. You already did. The monitors flickered one last time. And for a split second, I saw something impossible. The control room. From the train. And sitting in the chair, watching the monitors, was me. I couldn't look away from the monitor. The image burned into my mind. The control room. The chair. The screens. And me. Sitting there. Watching. My breathing became uneven. That's not happening right now. The duplicate stood beside me. Silent. Watching me watch myself. Which one do you think you are? It asked. The question hit harder than anything else. I didn't answer. Because I didn't know. I looked down at my hands. They felt real. They moved when I told them to. My heart was pounding. My thoughts were clear. But the version of me on the monitor looked exactly the same. Same breathing. Same movements. Same fear. How do I know I'm not the one in there? I whispered. The duplicate smiled faintly. You don't. The lights flickered again. But this time, they didn't stabilize. The control room began to change. At first, it was small. A flicker in the corner of my eye. A shift in the shadows. Then, the walls moved. Not physically. Not like something breaking. But like the room itself was resetting. The monitors glitched. The timestamp scrambled. The cameras switched rapidly between feeds. Platform 1. Platform 6. The hallway. The control room. All overlapping. All out of sync. My ears rang. A low hum filled the air. The same hum from the train. But louder now. Everywhere. It's happening again, I said. The duplicate nodded slowly. The cycle is collapsing. What does that mean? It means. It stepped closer. You stayed too long. The speakers exploded with static. Then the voice returned. Louder than ever. Clear. Unavoidable. Cycle unstable. The walls flickered. For a split second. They weren't walls anymore. They were train windows. Black. Endless. I stumbled back. This isn't real. It is, the duplicate said. The floor beneath me shifted. The control room stretched. Warped. The desk in front of me became a row of train seats. The monitors turned into dark glass windows. The door slid sideways. Like a train door. No. My voice cracked. No, no, no. You were already inside, the duplicate said calmly. The illusion snapped back. The control room returned. But it wasn't the same anymore. The lights were dimmer. The shadows deeper. The air colder. And the duplicate Was gone. I spun around. Where did you go? No answer. The speakers crackled again. Final boarding. The monitor showed platform 6. The train doors were fully open now. Wider than ever before. The darkness inside wasn't empty anymore. It was moving. Shapes shifting. Dozens. Hundreds. And standing at the edge of the platform was me. Not the duplicate from before. Not the one from the hallway. This one looked different. Tired. Worn. Like he had been there a long time. He looked directly at the camera. At me. Then he raised his hand slowly. And gestured. Come here. My chest tightened. I'm not going. The station lights flickered violently. The hum grew louder. The walls trembled. You don't have a choice. The voice didn't come from the speakers. It came from behind me. I turned slowly. The duplicate was back. Standing right behind me. Closer than before. You are the last step. My heart was pounding. What happens if I don't board? It tilted its head slightly. Then the cycle breaks. Hope flickered for a second. Then I won't. The duplicate didn't move. Didn't react. It just said one thing. It already did. The monitors went black. The lights shut off. Complete darkness filled the room. Then, a sound. A train door sliding open. Right behind me. The sound of the door opening came from right behind me. Slow. Smooth. Unnatural. I didn't turn around immediately. Because I already knew what I would see. The train. Inside the control room. The air grew colder. The hum was everywhere now, low, constant, vibrating through my chest like it was coming from inside me. Turn around. The voice came from the darkness behind me. Not the speakers. Not the duplicate. Something else. I clench my fists. I'm not getting on. Silence. Then. A soft response. You already did. I turned. The control room was gone. In its place. A train car. Rows of seats stretching endlessly into the dark. Dim overhead lights flickering weakly. Black windows reflecting nothing. And sitting across from me was me. The tired version. The one from the monitor. He didn't move at first. Just sat there, staring at me like he had been waiting a very long time. Then he spoke. You made it further than I did. My throat felt dry. What is this place? He looked around slowly. This is what's left. Left of what? The ones who didn't understand in time. My chest tightened. No. I didn't board. I never did. He shook his head slightly. That's the trick. The lights above us flickered. For a split second. The train car wasn't empty. Every seat was filled. Different people. Different faces. Different years. All sitting silently. All staring forward. Then they were gone again. You see it now, don't you? He said quietly. I swallowed hard. This isn't taking people. He nodded slowly. It's sorting them. My heart skipped. Sorting for what? He leaned forward slightly. His eyes locked onto mine. For the ones who stay. The train shook. Not violently. Just enough to remind me. We were moving. I stood up suddenly. No. I'm not staying here. He didn't stop me. Didn't even react. Try, he said. I turned and walked down the aisle. Fast. Then faster. But the aisle didn't end. It stretched. Longer. Further. Endless. The more I walked, the further away everything felt. The door I came from. Gone. The seats. Repeating. Over and over. My breathing became uneven. This isn't real. It is, his voice echoed from behind me. I stopped. Turned. He was standing now. Right behind me. You're still thinking like you're outside. My chest rose and fell rapidly. Then what am I? He didn't answer immediately. Instead, he pointed toward the window. I turned slowly. For the first time. The glass wasn't black. I could see outside. The station. Platform 6. And standing there was me. The version in the control room. Watching the monitors. Looking confused. Lost. Exactly how I had been. My stomach dropped. No. You see it now, he said. That's the next one. My voice trembled. So, what happens to me? He looked at me for a long moment. Then he said something I'll never forget. You become the one who stays. The train slowed. The lights flickered. The door slid open. Platform 6. Empty. Waiting. He stepped toward the door. Then stopped. Turned back to me. You still have a choice. Hope hit me like a shock. What choice? He looked at the platform. Then back at me. You can take his place. My chest tightened. Or you can stay here. I looked at the platform. Then back at the train. If I stepped off, I would replace the version of me in the control room. Continue the cycle. Forget everything. If I stayed, I would become whatever he was. Something between. Something trapped. Something that remembers. The train hummed louder. Waiting. I took a step forward. Toward the door. Then I stopped. Because I realized something. The version of me on the platform was already walking toward the control room. The cycle had already chosen. I looked back at him. What happens now? He didn't smile. Didn't move. He just sat back down. Now. The door slammed shut. You wait for the next one. The train moved. The platform disappeared. And the last thing I saw was the version of me in the control room. Looking at the monitor? Watching the train arrive. At exactly 1:03 a.m. And if you ever work a night shift at a train station, and you hear an announcement for a platform that doesn't exist, don't go looking for it. Because the train isn't there to take you somewhere. It's there to decide if you stay.